So, greetings. Today I am planning to do a two-part video actually on the gaslighting employee. Now, this is part one. I will define gaslighting in both of them just in case somebody sees one and not the other. Gaslighting is a term that is actually derived from an old movie. It's a great movie. If you haven't seen it, I highly recommend it. The basic idea is that the husband is trying to make the wife think that she is losing her mind and this is done at a time when lights in houses were gas lights, and he would turn them off or on at random times and do other things and then tell her that she was imagining things. So that's a brief summary, no spoilers there. The official term or the official definition for it is to manipulate someone by psychological means into questioning their own sanity. Now, there are two ways this shows up at work. One way is that the employee is doing it deliberately, and it is a very manipulative thing, clearly, and that's what I'm going to talk about here in this first video. The other way, which I will cover in the second video, is that it is being done as a defense mechanism. I'm going to stop there because that's a whole different topic, whole different set of things that you can do about it. So, what does this look like when the employee is doing deliberately? Well, maybe claiming, oh, you know what, I never got that email. Are you sure you sent it? Or, we never discussed my doing that. I wasn't supposed to take care of it. Or, you said you were going to ask them to do it. Or just flat out, I never said that. I never agreed to that. I don't know what you're talking about. It will often come along with kind of a condescending fake caring, if that makes sense. So, hey, you know, we're all stressed out right now. Don't worry about it. You just forgot what we agreed about. And it can also come with sort of a body language of you're kind of losing it, or, you know, just a wide-eyed innocent kind of thing. So it's a lot of very subtle manipulation designed to make you think that you are not really doing or saying the things that you believe you are, and that they are in fact completely innocent in not having followed through, not having done what you expected them to do, and so on, not adhering to agreements that you have made. Now, it can work really well because it is very subtle. It can really make you feel uncertain about, you know, did I actually have that conversation with this person, or did I in fact only imagine it? As it keeps going, you start to hesitate about making decisions. You start to have more concerns about how you are communicating. You find yourself perhaps wobbling around a bit about delegation, or again, it can go home with you so that you start being anxious in your personal relationships. You can start really wondering, you know, am I really cut out to do this management and leadership thing? So if you feel confused and frustrated and perhaps weirdly at fault when you're dealing with a particular employee, and you're not really sure why, or whether you even should be feeling one way or another, you could very well be dealing with a gaslighter. So, what do you do? And remember, I really recommend that you go and watch the second video as well. And I should at this point take a break to introduce myself. I'm Grace Judson. I am about all things management and leadership, especially in helping mid-level and first-line managers become the leaders that they want to be, that their team needs, and that their company needs in order for the company to continue to grow and be successful within a humane and caring culture, because that's really what everyone's looking for, right? So, first step, if you believe the employee is gaslighting you intentionally, is to start by believing yourself. The gaslighter, the whole thing about gaslighting is that they make you believe that you aren't doing the right thing. They make you doubt yourself instead of looking at what they are doing, and then you can actually end up gaslighting yourself. And it's all kind of fuzzy. So, maybe you really, you start wondering, did I really remember that wrong? So, start by at least deciding to decide for the time being that it did happen the way you remember. Then start documenting everything in sight. This is always a good idea in any performance question or issue with any employee. Always document. You can't change what's happened, but you can start to keep track of what is happening. And so make sure you send emails instead of just having conversations. Follow up with an email saying, hey, here's what we agreed on. Ask for a response, a confirmation that they got the email and actually read it and agree with what was decided on. That way they can't claim they never got the email. If they don't respond, follow up again. It's always about the follow-up, right? Be a little careful about using any tools where you don't get an indication that somebody has read the message. I know in Slack, one of the conventions, I guess, guidelines, principles that I use with my clients is that when you get a Slack message from me, put some kind of response on it. A check mark is what we usually use, and I do the same for them. Yes, you have seen it, you've read it, you're going to do whatever needs to be done. So you clearly can't document anything that didn't happen, which they may claim happened, but you can always be sure that you document your end of what does happen. Most importantly, and I maybe should have said this first, is to stay calm, because the gaslighter's whole objective is to get you rattled. And their favorite response when they see you getting rattled is, oh, come on, I was just kidding. You're overreacting. Calm down. So as the saying goes, don't let them see you sweat. Stay calm no matter what's going inside, and don't vent to anyone in the office. Even if you have friends or colleagues that you typically do, sometimes talk with about problem employees, don't do this here, because the possibility that the gaslighter has already gotten to them with their view of what has happened, you just don't want to go there. Which is why I also say it can be kind of tricky to go to HR or to go to your manager with this. This is one of those situations where there really are no good answers, because it is also fuzzy. If they're doing it well, it's very fuzzy. If they're doing it badly, then you've got a lot more scope to go to somebody, go to HR, create a performance plan, and so on. But you're going to want to be careful with that. I have to say that there are no solid answers on this. It's a tough situation. It's probably one of the most difficult employee performance situations there are. So, because everything else is much more concrete. As long as you're dealing with an employee that you are pretty convinced is doing this intentionally, like I said, part 2 of this is about the ones that may be doing it unintentionally and how that happens. But as long as you're dealing with somebody that you think is doing it intentionally, don't let them convince you that you're wrong, okay? That's exactly their goal, and that's not where you want to go. So, as a leader, you've got plenty of opportunities to really be wrong. You don't need to take on any extras. That's it for this. If this was helpful, by all means, let me know in the comments below. Let me know if you think you have a gaslighter, and we can maybe troubleshoot some of the interactions you have. If you aren't already a subscriber, if you are, thank you. If you aren't, do hit that subscribe button and the notifications bell so you will know when I publish another video. In the meantime, take care and be well.